to the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR to sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, Blais, AJ, and the man, the legend. We're playing the ending really quick.
The show's over.
Evan Rowell, back on the podcast.
I'm back.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Avs win. For once, this felt pretty routine.
Yeah.
No nonsense in the third period that the game like spirals out of control for no reason. Is that good or bad?
I mean, the Avs weren't sharp tonight.
By no stretch.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a routine win against a bad team. Obviously, one goal against on what, 24 shots, 25 shots.
I didn't see what it was 19 after the second. I don't
31.
know. 31.
It's on
31. Wow,
That's pretty good.
So
The very end, they
poured a few
that's
on
true,
there.
yeah.
it was. I think it was at like 23 or 24 before those last couple of
yeah,
minutes.
that's gonna help Kuemper out though with his
Yeah.
save percentage.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, outside of a stretch during the early part of the second period, did the Avs play their A game? No. Did they play well enough to win? Yeah, pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing your C+ game and you're winning comfortably, it's like, okay.
Yep. It's easy life.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel strongly about it. Like, you don't love it. You don't love that they're not just waxing these bad teams, but also like
You're also winning pretty
like
casually out
you're
here.
winning
Yeah.
and you're just like we were talking about it during the game that like how do you kind of look at this, like analyze this, and it was Buffalo played hard pretty much start to finish. They played hard, they were engaged. When the Avs played hard, they dominated the game, they scored a handful of goals, and that was it.
Yep.
And then they kind of just geared it down into cruise control and didn't take it very seriously after that, which you don't love. Like, you don't, it's not a great mindset. It's not a great habit. It's not a great practice, but like you have 32 wins in 43 games here. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what your criticism is. It's a nitpick.
Yeah.
It just looked like a tired team that just doing enough to get
Yeah.
a dub, and they know that a break is coming that they desperately need.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a great point. I mean, like they're in vacation mode already. They've got two
senioritis
assignments left that they're like, oh man, I don't want to
kicked
do. Yeah, I don't want to do either of these assignments.
Yeah, the moment that Bruins game finished, senioritis kicked in. They haven't taken any of this seriously.
Bednar, Kale, and Kadri looking at McKinnon like, this motherfucker doesn't have to go to the All-Star game? Damn.
Somebody break my nose.
Yeah, right. I need a week off. Come on. Evan, what's more impressive from the Avs right now? 10 straight or 18 at home in a row?
18 at home, because this is the goal, right? You're trying to get home ice advantage through the playoffs, and you're trying to, I guess I put this on our roundtable the other day. You're trying to, really make home ice advantage a thing. And the big game they lost last year, Game 5, at home.
Yep.
And that came back to burn them. So, I think it's really impressive because at this rate, they look like they're on cruise control to have home ice advantage in the West. So I think that's more important.
You're starting to drift into the territory of the Avs not just winning the West, but potentially running away with the West at this point. I think even with the games in hand Minnesota has, if they win them all, Avs will still be like 6 points up on them. I don't know where Vegas is at exactly, but you have to be feeling pretty
Way
good.
back.
That far back. So it's the Avs to lose basically at this point.
The Avs are already out in front by quite a bit when you consider games in hand and everything else.
Sure.
And that the Avs just decided literally that they were going to just not lose in a month. So,
yeah. The Avs finished January 15-0-1. 30.
Yeah, we break things down in 10-game segments, and it's like, all right, well, they went 10-0.
They're literally 10-0 in their last 10. 31 of the possible 32 points in January. They're
Vegas is 12 points back, and the Avs have 2 games in hand.
oh my god. Okay.
Just
It's
to let you guys know how things have been going.
It's like when you get to the end of the year at work and you're like, you know what, I earned this break. That's what next week feels like for the Avs. That they really
It's break time.
earned a break.
Yeah.
Like that they just dominated and they take some time off.
We say this, but the Avs still do have Arizona left to go, which we just decided just now we're going to be doing a watch along of that. Hopefully we can get Petey on. Know y'all like that, so keep your eyes out for that on Tuesday. For tonight, how do you break down a game like this? How seriously do you take the negatives from this game? Because AJ, you were talking about it.
You don't love them. You don't
love them, but
you don't love that you have a 3-1 lead in the third period and you have nearly 2 minutes of a 5-on-3 and you don't just end the game right there.
Okay.
Avs didn't have a shot for the first, I think, 10 or 11 minutes of the third period. So,
and they did kill 2 penalties in that time. So, like, some of that is like they're on the back foot there, but also they were not actively trying to generate offense.
Yeah, anyone who bet on Kadri for the over knows that they were not actively trying to.
Yeah, that's what I would have loved to see a little bit more shooting from Kadri.
Specifically.
Really, just the one on the 5-on-3 when he was in tight and he tried to pass it across the landing, and all of us went, no!
Well, after the first period, you're like, feeling good about this bet already.
Got 2 shots on goal, you're humming along, you're feeling fine.
Yeah. Can't win them all.
Could have had it.
They were just sloppy all night, but you look at the first, I don't even remember when Landeskog scored. I think all of us were like looking away because it happened so quickly, but they were sloppy. Nichushkin had like 6 turnovers in the last first 3 minutes of the game, and then Mikko makes a world-class pass to Landeskog, and they're up 1-0. There it is.
An interesting conversation here, I think, is who was the best forward for the Avs in this hockey game?
Logan O'Connor.
Oh, I would not disagree.
Okay.
I think he consistently made an impact. He was out there. He was moving his legs. He was flying. I liked what I saw a lot more from LOC, and like it just goes to show you, right, that like you just not how hockey works. Like your best players aren't always the ones that are potting those points for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Definitely true.
Mikko Rantanen looked pretty good tonight with the 2 points.
I did like Mikko way more tonight.
He was a little bit more engaged in the game.
Yeah, I mean that first the play that he makes on the first goal is just
all world.
Like that's more of what I want to see, where he just goes and outworks somebody. He makes a nice play, and then he makes a world-class play to a teammate and sets him up.
And then you finally saw the return of the Mikko one-timer.
Yeah, and like Tokarski sucks, and he's not anywhere close to that thing. But
still,
whatever. Like,
I don't even know. I mean, on even a good goaltender, like that shot was pretty labeled up over a shoulder. That's a hard.
I mean, Tokarski just didn't have a chance at it, so it's hard to.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, look, Mikko was great in those couple of moments there, and it wasn't like they were free. He made great plays, great finish, but
did take the dumb penalty.
Yeah, and they all kind of did, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Nichushkin just randomly smokes a guy with 3 minutes to go in front of the bench, and it was like, bro,
why?
And Evan made the point right after Nichushkin scores the empty net. Like, Val Nichushkin plays like shit, and he walks out with 2 points.
Let's call him Mikko. He did a Mikko.
He did not like that. This might be the worst game that we've seen him play process-wise in quite a while.
It was not pretty.
And then he walks out with 2 points, where you're like, hey, he's had some nights. He's played great. Hasn't gotten anything.
Yeah.
He took the penalty. And it was just like, yeah, we're not losing tonight. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
These guys aren't coming back.
No, I was uncomfortable.
You were the only one that was uncomfortable.
My thing I wasn't worried about the Sabres. I was worried about a puck taking a funny bounce off of somebody's knee and going in, and then you're susceptible to one good play, right?
You're right, but against any other organization maybe, but the Sabres just don't get those bounces.
That's just after an entire month where they don't lose a normal, like they don't lose in regulation.
Sure.
Their one loss is the horse shit in Nashville.
Yeah.
Which they almost threw a parade for when they won that game. I remember reading all their
banner raising time.
I read a lot of the stuff from Nashville that night about, oh, what a special team this is, and this team just has something different about them, and oh, look what they did to Colorado, and it was like, okay. Fast forward to right now.
Nashville's not even in second in the division anymore.
They are.
They are still.
Thanks to 45 games played.
Yeah, that's
they are 9 points back, and the Avs have 2 games in hand.
And Minnesota
is
them.
1 point back and has 5 games in
okay,
hand.
There you go.
And even then, they also only have 1 point on St. Louis, and St. Louis also has a game in hand. So they could be like de facto 4th here.
Yeah, they're quickly falling to a wild
Yeah.
card spot. Could be playing the Avs in the 1st round.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you want to see how special they are? Let's see.
Let's find out. Yeah, find out
So-
the hard way.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm just expecting. I'm now on universe watch, where something bad is going to
you
happen.
know, eventually
There's-
it's got to happen.
Yeah, like the pendulum is broken at this point. It's stuck permanently in Colorado's favor. I'm of the opinion that they were more deserving of a loss tonight than they were against the Bruins. So
I don't know if I buy that.
Ooh,
Certainly, the
I
third
disagree
period
with
against
that.
the Bruins was
I think
great.
They
but
played significantly better against Boston than they did, even with some tough spots in that game. I thought they were a much more competitive, much better team. Had they played tonight like they did against Boston, this would have been 8-0.
It was sloppy tonight.
Buffalo certainly wouldn't have scored the one nonsense goal that they did. That was
But
a gift from the
is
gods.
Is that really a fair comparison, though? Because we know this team will play down to competition.
It's not. Different teams, different opponents, different days, different, whatever. But I didn't love their game today. I thought that there were long stretches where Buffalo just took it to them, and
I don't disagree with that.
great, if it's not for great goaltending from Darcy Kuemper, that second period could have gone way different. Instead of them walking out with a 3-1 lead, they could have been down 3-1 9 minutes into that period.
There were large stints of time where you didn't see the other side of the ice, and you're like, this Buffalo team is controlling play right now, which is
like
a little scary to see. But again, they're not generating a lot of, dangerous chances in front of the net.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should come out of this game feeling like the Avs played particularly well, but they played well enough.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, that's all that counts. Is you got to play well enough. Avs did. We already talked about the first goal a little bit. Mikko feeling himself on the passes lately after the empty netter the other night, where he goes between his own legs. I don't know. Evan, how did you feel about the top line as a whole? Let's start there. We saw it get changed up a little bit throughout the night. At the end of the game, they were running Kadri up there instead of Nichushkin.
The old beefcakes haven't really been as beefcakey as I thought they were going to be. They're really not like, there's. I figured they would impose their will a lot more than they really have, and maybe it is just that these guys are exhausted and they're just using their skill kind of to get by. But top line is, Landy's producing, but his goals the last couple games were on power play. Tonight was an nice feed from Rantanen, but I really haven't been super impressed with that top line the last 2 games, which they're just throwing guys to get. They're just
really
doing what
kind
they
of
can right now.
It shows you like where that top line starts, like what separates them isn't there right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
And like they are 10-2 now without Nathan Mackinnon in the lineup.
And they scored seemingly at will.
Yeah, they've scored 10 goals in 2 games without him.
Yep.
So if you hadn't watched the games and you're just breaking it down and you're like, all right, well they're 10-2 without him and they're still producing points and they're this and they're that, and it's just like, yeah, well they're also really good players, but when you watch them at even strength, they're not.
Yep.
It just has not been the same.
Welcome to the live show, Todd. Glad of you to join us on YouTube. Great opportunity to tell you all to like and subscribe here on YouTube. Do that. It helps us out quite a bit. You get to see when we go live and all that stuff too. So, welcome.
I don't know the context of the 10-2 exactly, but when these last 2 games are against Chicago and Arizona, it's like, well, that kind of plays a role. Whereas if it was against, Vegas and you don't have McKinnon,
no,
might be a little bit
you
different.
go back and you look at the games that he missed earlier in the year, and it was like Vancouver and like it
Not
wasn't
juggernaut
It was
teams,
not a
yeah.
killer stretch of games, but you're still talking about you take Nathan MacKinnon out of your lineup. look where the Pens were earlier this year when there was no Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
They survived, but they weren't 10-2.
This team is still freakishly talented.
Yeah,
without
no
one of the
doubt.
best players in
And
the world.
that's kind of the point here is that they're against bottom feeders, but it goes to show you their separation between bottom feeders and where they are. You take out Nathan Mackinnon, and you still comfortably win a 4-1 game.
That you don't play particularly well in.
You're not great in it. You're still winning games. You still beat Chicago the other day, and these are teams that are getting up to play you. You think Chicago didn't want to take that game at home and avoid the season sweep at the hands of the Avs? They got 1 point out of 4 games against them this year.
Okay. Chat, keep your receipts. Because didn't hit tonight, but when the Avs score 2 goals in the first period, Breck Brew will buy you your Breck Brew. If you buy a beer, you take your receipt with you. The Avs score 2 goals in the first period. You go over to breckbrew.com, show them your receipt. They will cash you back for the beer. So it's that easy. Go get yourself a literal free Breck Brew when the Avs score 2 goals in the first period. I don't know why you wouldn't do this.
It's pretty sweet.
Is there a better drink than free beer? I don't hear any no's. So I'm going to take that as a no. There is no better drink.
Rudo's just looking at me waiting. That's
You don't even like beer.
what I'm saying. I'm just going to stay out of it.
All right.
If you give me anything for free, I'll be like, it's pretty good.
My man. That's what I'm talking
It's
about.
true.
So go get yourself a Breck Brew. If the Avs score 2, you get a brew on Breck Brew. Go to breckbrew.com. You can also find them at your local liquor store with the Breck Beer Locator online. If you need some beer money, head on over to DraftKings. Use that DNVR code to sign up for a new account. You get the amazing odds boost every single day. I actually don't know their new one because the football round just ended. Oh, we got sexy Rudo on the screen here.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah, I
I don't know
noticed
why,
that.
but I'm here for it. Yeah. So the conference championship just ended, but you can bet your ass DraftKings is going to have some massive blowout deal on the Super Bowl that you can win like obscene amounts of money on if you sign up with the DNVR code. So
Wish we could have bet on a dude headbutting the other one at the bar today.
yeah, I think we could have got good odds on that, but
Yeah.
that
would have been awesome.
Was it a headbutt?
Yeah.
apparently it was. Yeah.
That's what started that whole thing.
Apparently that's what started it.
there was some swinging too,
What
but
is the point of a headbutt? Nobody's winning with a headbutt.
that is the point.
To
Yeah.
inflict pain.
I may lose,
Yeah,
but you're also going to
Did
lose.
you see all the blood?
Yeah, I
that
did.
was
but
it.
like,
That was the point.
you're both suffering brain damage. Like, I mean, I don't know.
In any case, with DraftKings, keep your betting to like actual UFC or boxing or something, not street fights, preferably. But head on over to DraftKings again. Use that DNVR code. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. DraftKings is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We kind of beat around the bush here, but let's get to the king of the game. Darcy Kuemper, he only gives up the 1 goal, ends up making 30 saves on the night, another 960-plus save percentage for him. He also had a couple of gems tonight. Had a couple of
That
those
glove
saves
save.
that are highlight reel, yeah.
Jeff Skinner's reaction on the bench said all of it when he was just like, my God, $9 million still does not make me feel better.
The funny thing about that one, too, is like, good for Darcy to get his glove out there. If he would have shot it anywhere else on the ice, that was a goal. And he shot it right into his glove.
Like, I feel like that some of the best saves you see are as much mind games as anything else because the goalie's like, big brain, I know you're going upstairs on this one.
Yeah, well, and it's just a natural instinct. Like,
Yep.
you don't ever shoot a puck and be like, I'm going to slide this on the ice, right? Like, the only time you ever do it is when you're, like, on a breakaway and you're making that kind of a move.
To get
where
him to
you're-
crack the
You're not
five
really
hole or
shooting it.
something.
You're, like,
Yeah.
guiding it.
Yeah.
Or you're Nikita Kucherov and you're just moving your stick around over top of it and not touching it at all. But, like, when you shoot a puck, like, you shoot a puck.
Yep.
Like, you're shooting it. It's just natural to try and lift it. And then, it's the same thing with, like, that Grubauer left pad save.
Yeah,
against
where he
Calgary,
lifts it,
right?
yeah.
Like, those guys do that for a reason because you know that a shooter is just instinct to just try and shoot over things.
Yep. So
And sometimes you end up shooting it right into the glove and being like, my God, that sucks.
I wasn't listening to the commenters at the time, but like, I would imagine they were talking about timely saves because I think it was 1-1 at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
I think most of the night was spent by the commenters trying to get more
was-
than one word out of children. So
yeah, I know, I'm used to that. So, but
we
mean-
do have two dads on the show tonight.
Yeah.
I forget.
if that goes in, it could be a very different game because Buffalo had all the
Definitely.
momentum at that point.
Yeah. It's
That's what I'm saying, man. That second period, the Avs could have easily lost the big play moment.
yeah.
The game-changing moment.
but-
Darcy Kuemper came up with that save and bailed his
Yeah.
poor-ass skaters out. And then they put it together just enough to build a lead, and then Darcy locked it down. Like,
Yeah.
in theory, this is how it works, right? Like, you go and you get a goalie that will do that when your skaters just aren't very good. He's not also letting in 3 goals, and you're like, well, this game is just over. We lost.
Yeah. It's been easy with the Avs goalies for most of this month. It, is the biggest question going into the new year for the Avs, and now it's not a question at all.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to feel really good about this hockey team. Yes, you can expect them to play better. I don't think they've played their A game maybe twice this whole month. And yet they're getting what they need from every position that they have, right?
I think by the end of that Boston, it was an A-.
Sure. Well, you have the Boston game. You have
The Leafs game.
the Leafs game certainly after they went down early.
Yeah.
They played A+ hockey. You have that Arizona shutout.
Before nothing game where
Yeah.
they were never really in danger in that game. Yeah.
But beyond that, they're winning a lot of games with B or even C level games. So,
Yeah, and like that there's going to be a stretch of games where your team doesn't play its A game,
for sure.
and it's always the regular season is always about how do you manage that stretch.
Yeah.
Is it a 5-5? Is it 6-4? How many points do you get out of that stretch? What does it look like when it's 10-0? You've done something pretty comical.
And there's always games in the year where you play great and you don't get the results. Hasn't happened to the Avs a ton, especially not in the last 2 months, but that's just
No,
how
I mean,
hockey works.
has it happened at all?
I can't
Since that 4-5-1 stretch where
Yeah,
the
that's
lineup was a disaster,
Yeah.
Kemper wasn't very good.
I mean,
They didn't know who
since
was in,
that stretch, they've lost
all the
5
injuries.
games.
Like, and well, in 2 of them, like the too many men on ice in
Yeah.
Nashville, and the other one was the COVID game that should have
right,
never happened.
Right.
So it's like they really haven't had one of those games where you're like, oh my God, this team has played awesome tonight. They're just getting screwed here.
Yep.
When they've played awesome, it's been over. Like they bury those teams. They find ways. I think that's the thing that inspires the most confidence is that their A+ game hasn't been matched by anybody else's A+ game.
That's pretty true. It's hard to
Like Florida came into town
And
and,
they beat
played
them.
played an A game, and it was a great hockey game. Wasn't enough.
the Leafs.
They went to Tampa Bay and they played an A game, and they got an A game from the Lightning, and it wasn't enough. They close games, but they found ways in both of those games.
Leafs won same way. Certainly the first half of that game, the Leafs brought their A game, and then
Yeah.
things kind of fell apart. But the Avs didn't go away against
It's the same thing. I mean, that's similar as Boston. And,
Yeah.
you look at maybe, I would say the one big, I think, disappointing one was the Minnesota game that they just didn't finish in regulation.
Sure.
But also you look at the 6 bounces it took for Kirill Kaprizov to get the game-tying goal, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that was the bounce. Like, that's what you're worried about. Like, that's the freak thing that happens to you, and you survive it. You get through that. And that's kind of like the ultimate bottom line of all this is it hasn't mattered how it's happened. It hasn't mattered what position they've been in. It hasn't mattered the adversity that they've faced. They've just kept finding ways to win games. The one exception being they didn't kill the penalty on the too many men that didn't exist.
I want to. This is something I've been talking about a good bit on the shows and in my reviews, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on it too. Blais, do the Avs defenders have the best sticks in the league?
I mean, over the last few games, absolutely they do. They have caused the other team to basically lose scoring chances because the sticks, the active sticks in the defensive zone are right now phenomenal.
Yeah.
We should really dig into the all three zone stuff during the break
Yeah.
and see what they look like actually defending entries and things like that.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be any data on like stick breakups, right?
One to the other, but
And so it's hard to know, are they actually the best? Because, I mean, every night it looks like they're better than the other team. But, they're not playing a lot of very good teams.
well, then just casually tracking it tonight, it felt like every other time down the ice, there's a stick in
How
a
many
passing
times were we,
lane.
I mean,
or-
during the Nuggets postgame show,
Yeah.
if you listen closely, you could probably hear one of us in the background going,
Stick.
great stick.
stick.
Like, you would have thought it was a safe word, man. Like, it was.
No, you weren't here, but we established this with Jesse the other night. The Av safe word is Makar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be choke.
No, you say Makar when they choke too hard.
I see.
Okay, it adds up.
I understand the safe words, yes.
Okay. Anyway, I think, and there are guys you expect it out of. You know Sam Girard has a great stick. You know Devon Taves has a great stick.
Yeah.
But you're seeing guys like EJ.
Yeah, Eric Johnson, multiple breakups tonight where, like, I thought Eric Johnson defensively was kind of a mess. I didn't really like a
period,
lot
for
of his
sure.
game at all. And then he has multiple plays with great breakups with the stick of scoring chances. And you're like, this is the conundrum. It can never just be all good or all bad with you. It's always got to be complicated.
This is why they need Byron back to
Oh,
limit
man.
those guys' minutes.
Stabilize that for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, but
Yeah.
how much better is this defense with? It doesn't even have to be Byram. Any NHL regular defenseman instead of Curtis McDermott on the blue line,
And just load management, too.
Yeah,
for
right.
The vets
Right.
back there.
You don't have to play Jack Johnson 18 minutes a night all of a
Yeah.
sudden. It's like, oh, this isn't so bad. But it is what it is. First game after break is Lightning. Yeah. After the break, the Avs have to start playing real hockey teams again. So
That's going to be. Do the Lightning have a long break before that too?
They
I'm
do.
assuming, 'cause the All-Star
it's,
break.
it's the exact same break,
Because
actually.
that's what I was like. That's a tough one to come.
I only
back.
found that out watching because I watched the Vegas Tampa Bay game yesterday.
there you go.
It was a fun game. Vegas got credited with one shot on goal in the third period, and it was a dump in from center ice.
Nice.
Good job,
Wow.
Vegas. Proud
Yeah.
of
You want to talk about turtling? It was hard to watch, honestly.
you. When is Eichel actually supposed to be good to go for them? I don't know, but
There were murmurs it was going to be mid-February, and now it's getting pushed back again, and it's
Sure.
like
Convenient. Yeah.
they really don't want to try and have to make a decision about this cap stuff, so they're just going to keep trying to. Well, and then like one of the guys that you thought was on the chopping block was Braden McNabb.
yep, and they
He
just
re-signs
extended him.
an
Yeah.
extension today,
Yeah.
so you're just like, okay.
Guess they're
They
still
just get
there.
to keep everybody.
Yeah.
The rules just somehow.
Look, they'll just play with 15 skaters on purpose. It'll be fine.
Almost beat the Avs last year doing
I
that.
know. That's what I'm saying.
That or the front office is getting some Nancy Kerrigan stuff going on here.
Dude, I don't.
To one of the players.
I just
pretty
don't
soon.
understand. Like, they're.
Why?
I feel like the reason you're afraid of Vegas is because Jack Eichel, right?
Yeah.
Because right now, current version of Vegas,
Not afraid of that.
Gimme him.
Yeah.
Right now.
Not afraid.
I'm still not afraid, even
no,
with
I'm not
Eichel
worried
in there.
about him. I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah.
I've watched
Are you
enough
afraid
of
with Eichel in?
with Eichel? If he's
No.
Jack Eichel, yes. If he's like 70% of Jack Eichel, no.
Yeah.
I'm just not with Kadri playing the way that he is.
I just
not
don't-
with. I just think Colorado's. And then I don't know. Is Byram in the lineup? Like there's
There's
things,
question
right?
marks for sure.
But
I just don't think
right
Eichel-
now head to head. No, I'm not afraid of Vegas.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there isn't the only thing that I'm afraid of is the Avs underperforming.
Yeah. I just
There
don't
isn't
think
a team out west that scares
Yeah.
me from a head-to-head matchup
Yeah,
perspective.
this year, like for Eichel to come back and become an elite player after sitting for so long, not getting those reps, not playing against top.
Well, this is the
performing
conundrum
players.
because the longer they hold him out because of the cap stuff, because they're trying to be cute with it,
Yeah.
the less time he has to get back into being Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
Are they really going to burn the first year trying to be cute with the cap
It's,
and then not get who they they paid for.
Yeah.
And then now they're 1 year older the next year. Petrangelo and Martinez and all these other guys are just 1 year deeper into deals. They lose Riley Smith just right off the top.
Yeah.
It's an interesting.
I don't
know. I think it's interesting.
It's so hard to tell anymore, though, because, like, you have Kucherov, sat out the whole year, comes back, and didn't look like he missed a beat. You got Frankie.
Yeah.
I would never have expected him to come back and look as good after
sure.
not playing, 19 months in the NHL? You just... These guys are so good now. Like
He's arguably better than he ever has been.
Yeah. Like, these guys are so good now. They keep themselves in shape. Eichel's been skating. It's not
he
like
was
he's not
skating
been
like
skating.
a week after his surgery.
Yeah.
I do want to bring this back into the hockey game. I know Buffalo's boring, but
And there really isn't, to be honest, there really isn't tons to say that we haven't said about every other game they've played the
Correct.
last 3 weeks.
there are two things unique to this hockey game that I did want to talk about. One,
That drawing of Curtis McDermott.
all right, there were about 30 unique drawings in this hockey game.
Unique interpretations of player looks.
Some of them were surprisingly good.
No,
though.
I thought they were awesome, dude. This is not going to be like Maddox going on the internet back in the day and
Maddox, holy
slamming
shit!
kids' drawings.
What a pull is that, AJ?
This is not going to be a thing that happens.
Like 3 people in the chat even know what you're talking about right now.
Shout out to those 3 people. Way to be an OG.
NAZEM KADRI'S goal. The challenge on it sure looked like it was a hand
Dude,
pass.
it's a hand pass.
Yeah, I'd be pissed if I was the Buffalo coach too.
On the other side of this, though, like, is this not the perfect, like, it's not a hand pass.
Right.
Like, he bops it out of the air, but it's like, why are we disallowing
Yeah,
this?
why-
I'm watching this replay, and I watch, like, he makes a play, and then there's a stick battle for it, and a guy swats at a puck, and it goes off another guy's ass, and it lands, and a guy shoots it into the net, and I'm like, we're disallowing this because a guy just swatted at it out of midair.
And
Like, I get that you can't, like, punch it into the net or whatever, but, like,
But-
if a homeboy can punch a puck out of the air to a teammate
Yeah, why
and,
not?
and have it, what's the issue
why
here?
not let him?
What is the problem?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, what does it really matter? Like,
Like,
if you want goals,
This is what I'm saying. Like,
it's like Andrew shot when he headbutted it in.
That should have
counted.
counted.
dude,
should have
shoulda
counted.
Because that's awesome. And you're not. It's gonna happen. What, once every? I'd never seen it before. And
Yeah.
that
That's
was
the
like
only
8
time
years
I've ever
ago.
seen it. And it should have counted then, and it should count now.
I just, like, I thought it should have been, by the rules, it probably should have been disallowed today. But by living
Well-
on planet Earth in a world where I live based on logic and reasoning and things that make sense, what's the issue here?
So-
I understand the argument of you don't want players kicking pucks in because they have blades on their feet. Well, they don't have blades in their hands. What's going on here? Like, why are we going to disallow that goal?
What are the statute of limitations on a hand pass in the NHL? Because this was not a hand pass directly to a goal. This was a hand pass to another player who passed it to another player.
Yeah, and it hits an opposing player
On the
along
way.
Yeah.
But shouldn't it be blown dead after the hand? The hand
but
pass,
is
right?
that sure? But they can't.
You can't. I don't know if you can review
Can you
that.
go 2 passes removed from
Right.
the goal?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
like,
yeah. I see what you're saying. Like,
It was like
where's the
when
call?
Yeah.
it was like when the Avs had that goal disallowed against the Blues that
Right.
that should have been
where
onside actually, but
but they had cleared the onside that
Yeah.
actually got called, and so it was incorrectly ruled. Like
it's dumb.
they missed the original call, but it eventually leads to a goal, and it's just like I don't know. I just don't. I think it probably should have been
And as chat is
a no goal.
is
but
mentioning here, the official ruling was that it was full stop, not a hand pass. So I don't know
Yeah.
if they had an angle where like, does the wrist count as the hand? I
Right.
mean, what?
Well, because like a goal, if a puck goes in off of a guy's hand, it's disallowed.
right?
If he goes in off his elbow, it's all good. And,
Yeah.
you know.
You're chopping up the human
Right.
body. At
I mean,
this point. Like,
Patrick Bordelot scored a goal right off his dick that one time.
well, and
And you're just like, all right, good cut. Good
that should
job.
count for 2.
the
Come
dumbest part to me is
Giving him extension.
That's what happened.
the dumbest part to me is Andrew Shaw headbutts a puck into the net. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Val
And that was sick.
Nichushkin takes a puck to the face on accident.
Yeah.
That one stands. Like,
And you're like, it's the same.
on. That's so true. I
the
didn't
same
even think
thing.
about that.
like Now you're trying to define intent of whether he wanted to hit the puck with his head or not.
Right.
Like, come on.
It's like,
That just as an aside, that was my favorite goal reaction. Because did you just?
that was back when he was still trying to convince us he didn't speak English.
I'm still convinced that he doesn't. He was just he slipped into. You remember in old school when they're at the debate and Will Ferrell goes into that detailed answer. That's what happened to Shushkin in that one presser. He just blacked out, spoke perfect English, and then woke back up and bailed.
The other call, and this is going to be a sticking point for a lot of people. What does it take to get a penalty shot in the NHL?
Yeah, so there were people who were like, he got an obvious shot on goal, so I think that's why. And it's like, what?
That's dumb.
He missed the net.
You're
I mean,
right, and
yeah.
it was like we don't know what would have happened without the infraction.
Yeah.
The clear separation is there.
Yep.
If that's not clear separation, then clear separation can't exist.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about clear separation being so clear that the opposing player cannot reach them for an infraction at a penalty shot here. Also, Berkey got benched and demoted for a bit today.
Yep.
Talk about a guy who needed
I didn't
a
really
penalty
understand
shot.
it.
Well, and I thought it was a little harsh because I've liked
He's been playing
most
well.
of his games.
It's not
lately.
perfect, but he's getting in there. He's
There
doing
have
the
been
physical
some,
things.
There have been some turnovers that have been a little frustrating, but also he gets demoted and comes flying out of the gate.
Yeah.
The next time you see him out on the ice, he gets a breakaway, makes a nice play at the start of the third period. Like, it worked for him. Maybe that's just it. They're just like, look, this works. This
Bednar knows he's got a
works.
button he can push there. Yeah.
Right, and
Well-
he doesn't want to push it too often. He waited for it, and like they need more from him. But also, when you go back and you just start looking at it, it's like, wow, if this is your biggest problem, every team would take this.
Yep.
He's just so soft right now. Like,
Yeah.
he can still play well and be so soft. And I think it's just a coach saying, I have to have a standard here. We've won 17 straight. Like, it's January. Get it together. Like, I need you down the stretch. I think that's all it is to it.
I mean, I'll die on the hill that it's okay to have soft players on your hockey team, but that's a topic for a different day.
Well, when you're soft in the defensive zone, and, like, one of his soft plays cost him the goal last game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
And that's where you
it's
get
building.
frustrated that some of the mistakes have been like doozies.
Detrimental.
and this was,
yeah.
when he got benched, was after the Avs had the horrendous start to the second period.
Yeah.
Which he had a couple shifts with the Kadri line then. So, maybe there was something we missed where he was just out of it, which wouldn't be a big surprise with Berkey because he's not always there.
He drifts through a lot of he really not a lot will happen. He'll drift through a lot of shifts, and then when you see him, you're like, oh yeah, right, that guy.
Yep.
All right.
On the other side, I thought NEWHOOK was awesome again.
Kid's a beast.
Just it's weird the way that the puck seems to follow him around.
Yeah.
And that's one of those it factors about a guy that you can't explain, but you're like, there are some guys, like Martin Kaut comes up and it just seems like
Puck
he'll
just
go
never
through a
finds
whole
him.
game
Yeah.
and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't have an opportunity to do anything. You're like, where is this guy? Alex NEWHOOK gets bumped up to a top 6, and we're talking about how, it'd be curious to see how he does with skilled players.
An active standout every
couple
time.
Points,
Yeah.
couple points in I think he's got now a point in each game.
Correct.
And that's with a disallowed goal and 2 close calls today. We're just like the kid is immediately jumping off the ice to you.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he's flying around too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
it's-
effort.
Well, I sat next to a scout earlier in the year who was talking about Kaut, when he was up, and he's like, he's just a nothing player. Like, he doesn't hurt you, but he doesn't really do anything. Whereas, NEWHOOK, you're like, oh. You'll go through a whole game, and if Kaut's up, early in the season, it's like, he's not hurting, but, I don't notice him.
Yeah, he'll play 8 minutes, and you're just like, oh, wow, those 8 minutes happened.
Whereas
Not
NEWHOOK,
that different from a Sakura
when
or
NEWHOOK gets
whatever.
the puck or is near the puck, you're like, oh, I notice him.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and
It's just a difference.
Well, and it was the difference between NEWHOOK and preseason in that first game, where he was just drifting.
I mean, it's the difference between a top 6 player and a fourth liner.
Yeah, where now you look at him and you're just totally different Alex NEWHOOK, and
Yep.
you wonder how can you get that switch to flip in some other guys?
Yep, for sure.
How can you get it in a Shane Bowers and a Martin Kaut and a down the road a Jean-Luc Foudy type of
pick
guy?
whatever prospect you like? Yeah.
to get the light bulb to come on for that guy, because they've tried a lot of stuff. They've given him NHL ice time. They've in Kaut's case just Not trying to like dunk on the guy here. Just was just using it as an example of a guy who's had some quiet games, and NEWHOOK gets that opportunity and nothing quiet about it. You know,
maybe Maltsev's the guy they're trying to get that out of more often. So
and another guy that I think, you know, if Burakovsky scores on that breakaway, Maltsev gets an assist. It's his first point. He's been robbed of like 4 points now in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Because guys either couldn't finish or penalties happened on plays that he makes, and I don't know. I think that Maltsev's getting better and more comfortable and more engaged, and he's starting to understand the difference between being a New Jersey Devil and being a Colorado Avalanche right now. The expectations for the work that you put in every day, very, very different worlds, and that level we're starting to see Maltsev meet more of that level of expectation, and you're starting to see some results out of him. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit more that you see with the physicality and the size. Made that great. I was actually just whining about it, like, where are we going to see something? And he makes a great steal and almost scores a goal there. Like, you do want to see some production. It just has to be part of the conversation eventually.
All right. Well, if you're tired of people being quiet, maybe you want to get some of that loud. Go get it at Lightshade. They got you covered. I promise you, I feel like, and I mean this in the least offensive way possible, but I feel like there's a bunch of boomers in chat that only know that you can smoke weed. There's a lot of other ways to consume your weed these days, chat. You can go with Ripple down at Lightshade, which is a fast-acting, dissolvable, clinically proven to hit twice as fast than the leading gummy. I don't know what y'all here is showing me, but okay. It's just like a tiny little product.
Yeah.
Super easy, dissolvable. You can just take it whenever you need to, drop it under your tongue, do whatever you need. It gets the THC into your system extremely quickly. A lot of people use it to help them sleep. It works great. Highly recommend you go check it out. Again, Lightshade, 11 different locations in the Denver metro and Aurora area right now. You can get 25% off when you use code DNVR at checkout. You can order online for pickup. I heard today that Kale and Jesse actually ran into each other at Lightshade today, both trying to get their weed. So
junkies in this place.
Degenerates.
You know how it be.
Yeah. True.
Degens from upcountry. Right?
That's not true.
It's a little true.
Hit up Lightshade. Go over there right now. And then when you need to take care of your teeth, head on over to Green Mountain Dental Group. Just 15 minutes from downtown. You can get a great job from them. When you get a cleaning, x-ray, and exam, you get a free Sonicare toothbrush. So take care of your teeth that way. You take enough weed, you won't even be able to feel your teeth. So great deal either way.
That's a different drug, by the way.
That drug's illegal. You can't do that drug.
Illegal.
Or you just haven't taken enough weed yet.
Just don't do drugs, kids.
Drugs are bad, unless they're legal, and you're of age to make them legal. But go to Green Mountain Dental Group, get your free Sonicare toothbrush, and get all your dental needs taken care of. Also, great time to sign up for a DNVR membership right now, as we got you covered wall to wall with Evan back. We're now rocking a 6-person beat kind of at this point.
Sort of.
It's a 5-person beat and then Blais on the pods, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just here to hang out.
It's like Blais comes on the pod. Megan kind of has our minor league stuff.
Does the prospecty
covered.
stuff, yeah.
And like occasional intersections of other things. It's a pretty well-rounded group.
We all got our
You don't
markets.
want to see my writing.
Might be better than mine, Blais. There's a reason I do video.
I mean, I do some graphics here and there.
It's just a big picture. The entire article.
Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. What do we got for Super Chats?
Ooh, slow night.
Yeah,
Like the game.
but there's a big one. So
True. Sundays.
NPJ with the $5.
wow.
Welcome back to Evan and continued health for the little one.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Much appreciated.
How's she doing?
She's good. Yeah, she's kids are. Kids are resilient, man. They bounce back from anything. I
Yep.
don't know how she does it. if I came off surgery, I hurt my ribs the other night. I don't even know how. I got home from my game and I was hurting, and I don't remember anything happening. So, yeah, kids are freaks. She'll be fine.
Degro Hydro, $5. I love the kids broadcast, by the way.
So we can touch on this just because it was that kind of a night. But we were talking about it, and like from a marketing perspective, from like a fan engagement perspective, this is so cool. Yeah. It's awesome. Like the drawings and having them announce everything, and then having them in the booth and during intermission, and it really just goes to show you how replaceable all of us truly are.
Like people were leaving the bar because they didn't have the commentary on for the football game, and it's like, are you listening to the commentary? It's not.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that it's that important to some people.
Yeah. It's just you're watching the game, and if kids I don't even care if kids are doing the commentary.
Yeah, straight up.
It doesn't matter. Sorry, Moj, I don't care.
Yeah, well, and like we've talked about this, that like broadcasts and
it's not
and
for
stuff,
us.
It's not catered to people like us. It's not something that really sells us on a whole lot of stuff. We don't glean much from it. It's nice. It's nice to know certain things every once in a while, like who was that? You know, especially if it's the opposing team and you're not sure. Like you will rely on a broadcaster for something like that. But other than that, like it's not really something that we have a lot of interest in. But I think it's such a cool idea for your community.
Yeah. They should do it more often. It's like my kid doesn't like watching football, but I turned on the Nickelodeon broadcast of that game a week or two ago, and she's just like glued to it.
It was awesome, dude. I was it was a weird like blast back to my childhood with all
the next night
them
they need to
sliming everybody all over the field, and I was like, "This is if this happened when I was a kid, I would have thought it was the coolest thing of all time."
Yeah,
well, they used to do that on Cartoon Network with like they had the Cartoon Bowl, I remember, but
I was not a big CN dude until too late.
So this is why we don't get along. I see. Okay.
I mean, I got to like Dexter's Lab and Courage like near the end of their runs.
Dexter's Lab era was the peak of Cartoon Network. It's been all downhill from there. But
okay. Anyways, I think the next thing they need to do. Yeah, I disagree with that. We won't
Gravity
get into
Falls
that right now.
isn't that good.
This is a super.
I want to do a night where they just don't have anyone. It's just game sound.
Oh, I mean, that's
of course.
We've talked about this all the time. I would pay money.
So much.
There's a ton of
sound.
hockey fans out there who would just be like, "Sorry, broadcasters, but game sounds, please."
I mean, think about just the immersion of it too. Like when you go to a game, like you don't have that's part of it. Like you don't have the announcers in your ear, and you can hear everything.
It's so funny. Broadcasters are that important to the experience, but when you go to a game,
I mean,
you don't need any of it. You just sit and watch the game.
Yeah.
How cool of a moment would it be to watch live and pick up something like Alex Petrangelo's "Oh Boy" as it's happening?
Right.
I mean, that was the dream, was when we had to go sit through those weird ass COVID games.
Yeah.
And then they piped in the
all
white
that
noise.
shit sound. Yeah.
And the Avs like insisted, because there were some teams that stopped and were like, just let it be.
It's fine.
With the sounds.
Yeah.
And the Avs were insistent that they had to have that white noise.
5 from Sage Folk saying, "This is a super chat. You're correct. It is. Thank you."
Nailed it.
5 from Dylan. "Hey, Landy, if it's an elbow, then that's not a hand pass, right? Did that clip of NEWHOOK make it onto the altitude broadcast? I don't think so."
Again, we don't pay too much attention to
I don't know.
There wasn't.
But if it's an elbow, then it would explain, one, why it was allowed, and why they were so, like, the wording of it was so, it was determined there was no hand pass on the play.
Sure didn't look like an elbow, but
yeah,
there just wasn't.
Didn't have a great
replays
angle.
that they showed weren't conclusive.
Yeah, it didn't
but
have
the
a
NHL has.
It was a dark puck
replays.
going into a dark jersey where you're just like, okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the 5, Dylan. 3 from our Oysters. "Hands doing the sign of the horns with sparkles around."
The hell what just happened? This must be a new thing since I left.
So every time I did it once, and I've like locked myself into this, where if they send a super sticker, I'll do the like.
I told him he had to do super stickers in a dramatic reading voice.
Yeah,
Because you don't see the sticker.
We can't see the
like
sticker.
it's describing an emoji basically that this guy put in the chat.
Okay.
$5 from Anime. Maddox mentioned blowing my mind. Of course you would know that, Anime.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty...
It's a deep cut.
Yeah. That's pretty into baseball there.
Okay.
Is it Greg Maddox?
No, it's not Greg Maddox.
I was like, why is he yelling at kids?
Because they're not good at drawing.
Blake Wheeler with 5. This is for Evan. I want to know your facial expression when McDermott gets the puck. I know AJ's, Rudo's, and Blaze's, but I need to know yours.
I don't know how do I describe honey?
I think is pretty accurate.
If
Groaning.
it were a super sticker, what would it look like?
Groan. I mean, he has surprised me with some plays over the last, I would say, week and a half or so.
I loved him at the end of the game getting ultra aggressive when he knew there was no downside.
But, I mean,
Oh my God, one of those pinches he made tonight.
Oh.
Bruh. Never
Well,
should he think that that's an okay
And the
thing.
terrifying part is you watch him take a terrible pinch and you look up and the guy covering back is Dylan Sakura and you're like, oh boy.
You're like, all right, this is about to be an experience.
Yeah. Before we go to the next one, we have to know, Evan, what's your bad food take?
Oh, yes.
my bad food take.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like Rudo doesn't like barbecue.
Also puts mayo on his burritos.
All right, pizza throwaway.
Yeah, Blais throws away pizza.
Well, I hate onions, just all onions in general. I don't know if that's a bad food take, but
It's an aggressive one
yeah,
for,
Yeah.
It's like the base of cooking.
for something
I-
so minor.
I
Like,
hate I just the smell, everything. You were eating a
Wow.
burrito with onions on it. I was like, I gotta get the hell out of here.
he treats onions the way I do pickles.
Shocking,
But,
I was eating a burrito tonight.
I don't know. I was very picky as a young man, and one weird thing I used to do is I used to make bagels. I'd toast them, and I'd just put whipped cream on them.
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream bagels.
Cream bagels? What? Chad, that's way worse than any take I've ever had. Come on. That's so much
It's
worse.
a miracle I'm not morbidly obese at this
No,
point.
the no barbecue
like-
is not good. Is a
The
horrible
mayo,
take.
mayo on burritos is looking great right now compared to that.
I mean, most people like whipped cream. Most people like bagels. Why don't you just put them together?
What in the world?
Is it like a plain bagel?
It's a plain bagel with whipped cream.
So it's not
on
like
it.
an everything bagel
Oh
that
my
you're just
God.
like,
It's an
dude,
excuse.
that's so weird.
It's an excuse to put whipped cream on something.
So it was your
I don't want
vehicle
to
for
just
whipped
be putting
cream?
whipped cream in my mouth. It's like,
That's the embarrassing
I
part?
feel better if I just put this on something.
Okay. Okay.
It's been a long time since I've done that, because now that I'm older, like I'll eat stuff I used to eat as a kid, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna die.
As long as it was Cool Whip, I guess.
That paid off.
Yeah, that one was worth it.
Jesse and Megan could not
Yeah,
come
they
up
didn't
with
have
good
good
answers.
takes.
No?
Is that Ali Rez? I can't. Or is it All Rez? I can't read. Thank you for the 5. I know people who always listen to the radio broadcast at games.
Which is weird because of the delay. Like
Yeah,
they're calling
well-
it like 7 seconds behind
No.
what you're seeing.
That's a big baseball.
It's
thing,
not
man.
that far behind. Because they have some buildings have the in-arena thing that you can tune into that's
true.
right away.
True.
But if you're tuning into the actual radio, you're nuts, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 5.
It is a big thing in
Radio
baseball.
people don't even describe the game very well. Like, I'll listen to the radio and it'll just be like, huh, what's happening? Like, yeah.
It's one thing my Mosier was awesome
Yeah,
on radio
he
because
was very good at painting a
doubt.
picture. Yeah.
You never had any doubt what the the person 3 rows behind the Avs bench was wearing. You got everything. You got every detail.
5 from Josh. Thank you very much. Hated seeing the OT loss in the last 10 column of the standings. So glad the remainder of that,
It's just 10-0-0.
the reminder of that is gone. Yep, 10-0-0.
Crazy.
Wow.
Easy life for Colorado right now. $2 from Ryan. Ranch in oatmeal topped with all.
Send
what
it back.
the fuck?
Refund that $2. Send
That-
it back. Use that to go get help, my man.
ranch.
That's
and
fucking
oatmeal.
disgusting.
What kind of oatmeal?
It doesn't
Does it
matter,
matter?
bro.
It might matter.
I mean,
You gonna put Cool Whip on it
flavored
next?
oatmeal?
Is that what you're gonna-
is it a big difference if it's apple cinnamon versus like plain, like gross ass oatmeal?
Could be, yeah. I don't know.
It's like brains.
What in the hell?
He could be like, I'm not that much of a freak. It's not going to be apple cinnamon.
And an incredibly generous $40 from Justin. Thank you very much. Victory shots. Also glad to see Evan
Wow.
back.
Well,
Until he just heard my food take.
Meh.
Yeah, right. Now everybody wants you gone. I think his response was what?
$40. That's
very much my
Got to do
response.
victory shots.
Jaeger's always good for me.
Yeah,
Same.
I don't even know. I'm probably going to have heartburn after this. Talking about whipped cream bagels.
Dude, I'm sorry, but ranch on oatmeal is fucking gross.
Yeah, that's
Is it worse
disgusting.
than whipped cream
Definitely.
bagels?
Yeah,
Definitely
At least I can
worse
see
than
where
whipped
you're
cream
coming from.
bagels.
I want some whipped
I need
cream.
an avenue for whipped
I
cream.
don't. You just gotta have a vehicle for that. I mean, that's like all
you
chicken
don't.
tenders exist for, right? Like you eat chicken tenders and it's a vehicle for the dipping sauce. You don't just eat chicken tenders.
I do.
No,
But
I don't. I
there
don't,
are
I guess that's another I don't like chicken.
what?
Whoa!
Holy shit!
Is this for moral reasons or is it
No, I
flavor
just-
reasons?
I did
don't
not
like chicken. I like fish, beef. I like everything else except chicken.
did not think I was gonna find out I didn't have the worst food takes tonight.
Oh, you have bad takes. Just so you know.
You just said you didn't like
You don't
chicken.
like barbecue.
Oh my god!
What? I still like barbecue meats at least. You just don't like chicken. What in the world? What are we doing out here?
Are we going to have to do a pod where we just bring out
I'm about to
everybody's
get-
dish and
I'm
then
about
it's
to
like,
take another vacation.
go
from the
on,
pod.
try.
I don't get it.
Sweet.
So you missed the part where Evan says he doesn't like chicken. Yeah, that happened.
Wild. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going back to my couch.
No onions, no chicken, but you'll eat whipped cream on a bagel.
I haven't had whipped cream on a bagel in a very long time. I actually did this when I was at my peak athlete because I was playing AAA hockey and junior hockey back then, and I would that'd be my way.
This is some Phil Kessel level shit right here.
Yeah. Well,
Graduated. I'm put the whipped cream in the salad.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
No.
that would be
No.
awful. Okay.
I don't even know what you
whipped cream. Good lord.
I don't. What? Chat, how you feeling? At this point, we're just buying time until these shots show up. I'm not gonna lie to you.
My bad food take was that I hate pickles and I don't like chocolate.
Crazy. I love pickles, and when I was a kid, I used to go in and just take Hershey's syrup and just pour it into my mouth.
Well, at least you didn't put it on a fucking bagel. You're at least being honest about it.
You might get some nutritional value if you put it on a bagel. Get some sustenance.
Good lord.
No, but like when you're doing that too, like what you were saying, like when you're playing hockey, the calorie intake that you
Yeah.
have to do to keep up, like, you know, I'd like come home, like eat 2 bowls of cereal and then eat soup and then have dinner and then go to practice and come back and then eat ice cream and whatever I
Yeah.
get my hands on.
I mean, I posted that video or that picture the other day. I saw the Frosty ice cream from Wendy's. It's a cereal now.
Really?
It's a cereal?
Yeah, you can buy a cereal that's Frosty, and I was like, 15 years ago, I probably would be like, hell yeah, I'm taking this home. But now I'm like, it's probably gonna hurt. I'm probably gonna be paying for this.
I love monstrosities like that. Like when KFC did that double down. and
Oh,
it
the
was
double down was
like
amazing.
like the sandwich with like the chicken as the buns,
Yeah.
and it was like, what is this? Yeah,
Sounds like my nightmare.
Dude, I love monstrosities.
Sounds like my nightmare. Chicken on chicken on chicken.
There was
know.
a hockey game tonight, not just bad food takes.
Barely.
Yeah.
This hockey game was kind of like a bad food take.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo is bad, and they have a bunch of dudes out with COVID right now. There's an argument that this game shouldn't have even been played, but
One thing I'll say is
all the way down.
I had no
assume?
faith in Kuemper a month ago, and I'm starting to gain some faith.
Oh, I'm
now.
all about
for
it, man.
sure, for sure.
Watched enough of him in Arizona to know that like this is good Darcy Kuemper, man.
It smells like, yeah,
It's Jaeger.
Oh, it's Jaeger.
I know.
I mean, you had to be around
I
Jaeger.
know, I didn't know anybody still drank Jaeger still.
Oh, hockey
Alright.
players go hard.
Apparently, a lot of it got consumed last night at the Go Days.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh, we drank a lot of it.
All right.
Eric was drinking it like
I miss
just
all the fun.
as a drink, like just
It was a highball full of Jaeger.
All right, let's do this. What
Yep.
did we go?
Yeah.
Hooray, victory shots.
Avs win.
I'm not doing all that.
Whipped cream.
Do what you got to do.
Oh, God.
Did that taste a little weird?
that wasn't Jaeger.
Yeah, that wasn't.
They were out of Jaeger.
What is it?
I don't know. It's on the price.
It's not that far from Jaeger,
That's what I asked them.
but it's not Jaeger.
That's PCP.
Didn't like it.
About to have a night.
You all right?
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
A little
either.
different.
Okay.
New rule. Not doing that again. They don't have Jaeger. Get something fruity. What the fuck?
Yeah, we got to bring the Uller back. That stuff was drinkable.
I can just do main tea shots every time.
That's it. You said Uller. It's
This
coming
what
back.
is this? Like lingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still just hanging out.
Yeah.
Funny.
It's still gross.
Yeah.
I need a chaser. Is there any whipped cream?
Cream on it.
All right, you get a chaser, but Evan has to be chicken. AJ's
All right,
got to
do
be
we
a
care?
pickle.
Do we care at all about Arizona in 2 days? Like if they
Nope.
go out and they lose that game 17-0, do we
Dude,
give a shit?
Arizona
care.
just got beat down by this Buffalo team last
Yeah.
night. No.
I genuinely, the outcome of that game does not matter to
I think
me.
also that was part of my frustration in this game tonight is that they were on a Sega Baba
Yep.
and the Avs were just chilling.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, I just, like, you win. So, again, who cares? But come on. Like,
I don't. It's hard to fault a team when they've won 10 games in a row, man. Like,
Yeah.
even if they
It's-
don't
well,
play their
right.
best. But
I don't even know. I don't even know what Jesse. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to write in the recap tonight. Fucking, I'm not writing it. So I don't. I'm not writing anything. I don't know what Jesse's going to talk about.
Not gonna worry about it.
was
Not gonna
4-1.
work here anymore.
Straight up.
It was 4-1 too. That's the funny thing. It's like
Yeah. I mean, and
that
well,
was the end result
like
of a bad game.
It got
4-1.
to 2-1. The review goes their way, and then it's just kind of done from there.
Yeah.
Like whatever else happens,
Yeah.
it was fine.
Yep. It was fine. Winning is fine. A $2 super chat here from Ryan.
Ugh.
That was my ranch oatmeal mix acting like Jaeger.
That's what it tastes like.
Jesus. It tastes
Yeah.
like if you tried to turn whiskey into Jaeger.
Yeah.
That's what it tasted like.
Yeah.
Okay. Avs won. It was pretty routine.
Yeah.
They've won 10 games in a row. They've won 18 in a row at home. They've won
Yeah,
15
18.
games in January.
They have a top 5
Ever.
winning streak of all time.
Ever.
They just had the most successful January of all time.
Yep.
And they just tied the NHL record for most wins and points in any month with, oddly enough, 2 different, Boston and Pittsburgh, each had their runs in March, a year apart.
Interesting.
2013 and 14. It's weird that it was March. I just thought that was like, okay.
Getting hot at the right time,
Yeah.
as they say.
So we're talking like they just wrapped, like I'm sitting here like but like they just wrapped up one of the most successful months in NHL history. Literally
Ever.
31 of 32 possible points they collected. Every single team in the NHL lost ground on them by quite a bit.
A point per day team.
The Avs got more points in this month than Montreal could get in this entire year. Like,
Yeah, I mean
genuinely.
they had more points in this month than several teams have had.
Yeah.
They had more wins in this month than 5 teams have had all year. Like, it's hard when you're in the moment to properly appreciate like the gravity of what they accomplished in the month of January. And we always joke about January being the big swoon. December and January, that's where they struggle. Well, hopefully we don't have to hear that again for a while because this is one of the great months of NHL history.
It's great.
Like they won 15 games in 31 days. They went 15-0-1. They did it with a schedule that had them playing constantly in the second half.
Yep.
They had 3 back-to-backs.
Yep.
They won the second half of 2 of those back-to-backs. And their one was the Nashville garbage.
Yeah, where they took the L in overtime.
Yeah. Like, what? You throw all that, and that's just like, this is just data. These are This isn't an opinion about anything. They just dominated.
All right. We're off the hook for saying if the Avs lose to Arizona because Casey's going to be at the game, and he was at their last home loss. So
was Evan. That's why it was a little nerve-wracking having him around again.
thank you
at
for
the
the
game.
five,
I wasn't
Casey.
here.
Much appreciated.
I do like they lost fewer games than the Broncos this month, and the Broncos played twice.
Got him. Got him.
Jeez.
When's the last time the Broncos had a win in January?
2015.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to get out of here for the night chat.
I mean, what else do you say?
You're done. You're done at that point. Thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate all of y'all a ton. We will be back tomorrow with a show about hockey. And we will be back Tuesday with
don't threaten me with a good time.
with pregame, watch along, and postgame. So be sure to tune in for all that on Tuesday. Like and subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't. That does a bunch for us. We're starting to creep up on 18K subs on YouTube. So 17.6. We're getting there. We're getting there. Someday we'll get a play button, and I'm hyped for it. Not for a while, but we'll get there. Yeah, we appreciate all y'all, and we'll talk to you next time.